On this week's show, we talk about RallyCross and the changes to the schedule. We'll then talk about Florida and all of the racing action that's going on in March. And then we'll wrap up the show with the SCCA Convention. Welcome to the Insider Report. Welcome to this episode of The Insiders. I'm your host, Errol Tucker. And joining me down at Cocoa Beach, Florida is Peter Keene, and out in Los Angeles, California, Bill Wood. How you doing, gentlemen?
Excellent. More than excellent.
Great,
Wonderfully
great.
Excellent.
Well, I have to say I'm doing quite well because the sun has finally come out here in Maryland. Looks like we're going to have some good weather for the rest of the year coming forward. I think we got rid of all that winter weather finally. So gentlemen, news coming out of the RallyCross camp, or possibly no news at all this year. Bill, what's going on with them?
Well, there'll be some news. They're trying to put this together. They've already moved. They announced the schedule, and its schedule included a round in Las Vegas in April. That has been moved from April to September, October. And so I think the first event now is in Charlotte on the Coca-Cola 600 weekend. That it changes periodically. There are a number of issues that are going on. I'm being told that a lot of this is being run out of Charlotte. So tracks around the country that are Speedway Motorsports tracks like Atlanta and Las Vegas and places where they plan to run, that all their marching orders are coming from the corporate headquarters in Charlotte.
So they're going to run these races, or at least they're planning to run these races during NASCAR weekends. And I think when you brought this up a couple months ago to us, I asked the question, how is that going to work? They're going to throw dirt up on the track.
No, they're NASCAR and Indycar. It's not just NASCAR. There's out of, I think, 6 rounds. There is plus the X Games. There is a couple of IndyCar weekends, like in Texas. I believe it's an IndyCar weekend, but there's also trucks on that Texas weekend. It is a problem, and they're trying to resolve that. Many things have been suggested, from running all dirt to running all pavement to, but the thing of RallyCross is the combination. That's what changes it from being a road race or an off-road race. So
are we in jeopardy of kind of bastardizing this whole form of motorsports that came from Europe and kind of making our American version of it?
Well, we've already done that with the big aerial jumps, the 70-foot jump and so forth, running through warehouses up in the Dirtfish Rally School outside of Seattle. We've already done that. And to what degree we will change it or change back is what's being determined right now. The big issue is, how do we run on a race weekend without getting dirt on the track? And
Bill, I just got a couple of points. I mean, honestly, I know Humpy's gone, and Humpy did all kinds of crazy stuff on those Charlotte, weekends or whatever. He had all kind of monster trucks and all kinds of craziness. But I can understand how all the marching orders are coming from Charlotte, because that's where Bruton Smith is, and I'm sure he holds the checkbook. That's one. But the other thing is like I said, at Charlotte, they've always done all kinds of crazy stuff. I think they do at Texas World as well. So, I think they'll be able to figure it out, if they got a street sweeper or the extra jet dryer or something. Because Bruton Smith's a marketing guy. That's how he is maybe even one of the guys that's slyer than NASCAR and getting the marketing done and bringing different things to his fans or,
From what I'm told, they're shying away from the idea of introducing dirt to the racetrack. And I can't blame, especially IndyCar, with anything that's going to upset the track with those cars. They would be against it mightily. And for that matter, you have to believe that truck drivers would, in the Camping World Truck Series, would feel the same way. There is some
Yeah, there's a safety issue.
There
with
is
that.
some talk of perhaps at Charlotte and Las Vegas and a couple of tracks in the tri-oval area. They have maybe a 1/3 mile or a 1/4 mile track at Charlotte in the wintertime is where they run the Legends cars and so forth. They're talking about maybe utilizing that area that won't introduce dirt to the pavement where the oval guys will be going 170, 180, 200 miles an hour, that same weekend.
And well, I can understand that. I mean, gotcha. I know that they have that little oval at Las Vegas as well, that little flat oval. So, I mean, I'm just saying, I think that there's some smart guys involved there that they'll be able to figure it out and still put on a good show. Because, I mean, they are marketing based as they can be. Yeah,
and there's
now you had mentioned that they were even looking at trying to put together some artificial type of turf or something that the cars could run on.
That's possible, but those are just rumors that I'm hearing. Right. That they would, like they do at the Race of Champions. But the thing,
right? That's exactly what I was going to say. Out there,
the thing you have to remember about Race of Champions, it's one car in the lane, and they bump around against the walls there. So you can imagine if you put 2 cars in that lane, or as many as 5 or 6 in a rallycross heat, you're going to have problems.
But that's what makes it exciting.
Yeah, right. Tear up equipment.
I have to say that to me, rallycross has all the makings of really being a great American spectator type sport. You have a lot of bumping, you have grinding, you have fast cars that Americans like, but you can all sit, we've kind of been spoiled here in America watching our racing, sitting in one seat and being able to see all the action from that one vantage point. So I think that this rallycross kind of gives us some of that action.
Most of all, I compare it to the NFL, where you get just explosive amounts of action and then you have downtime to talk about it. It translates so well to television that you're going to get an enormous amount of interest in the thing, because you can you not only watch it like you just said, but you're going to get a lot of downtime. You have heat races that are 5-6 laps, and there's only 6 or 7 cars on the track. The races don't last 5 hours and 43 cars and red flags and yellow flags.
I hope they get the whole program together, because I think it has the makings, like I said, of something that is going to eventually be great here in the United States. So let's see what happens, and hopefully they're able to get the rest of the schedule kind of put together and locked in, figure out what they're going to do with these tracks.
The best venue is Irwindale, and Irwindale's gone.
And that's gone.
So, hope we can get it worked out.
All right, gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about basically Race Central for the month of March, which is down in your territory, Peter, Florida. We'll be right back.
Hey, Mario.
Hey, what do you got in this thing?
16 valve, 2.4 liter engine, 200 horsepower. Air conditioning.
32 valve, 3.5 liter engine, 650 horsepower, air conditioning.
Honda builds every Indycar engine. It's our commitment to racing and engineering. The same engineering that goes into the all-new Civic, the official vehicle of the IZOD Indycar series.
Welcome back to the Insiders. So, Peter, Florida is basically Race Central for the month of March, isn't it? You have NHRA down in Gainesville. You have the Supercross going on at Daytona, AMA Superbikes. Indy Test just happened for Sebring. With IndyCar, you just got a bunch of racing going on.
Well, yeah, and you left out the 12 hours of Sebring next weekend, and then also St. Pete the weekend after that.
And the St. Pete race, yeah.
So,
exactly.
I mean, where do you want me to start? I mean, essentially, I guess at the top,
what happened at the test? What have you heard about what happened at the IndyCar test?
From what I saw at the IndyCar test, they're all selling it as this, it's the greatest thing. I think they all got work to do. It's kind of like when NASCAR came out with the car of tomorrow, it's a new deal. to me,
Right.
I mean, as a innocent bystander or whatever, looking at the cars, I mean, it's just like, you know, doing a wing sprint car. Essentially, they put bigger billboards on the side of the cars is what it looks like to me. I mean, I kind of think the back kind of looks like a Daytona prototype with the wheel openings and stuff. And then, and I know they're trying to do that for safety, but then the raised size, they just look like to me, they're trying to make a bigger billboard and try and do better NASCAR marketing.
Well, isn't it all for Errol though?
I don't think so. I think it's, one, I don't think they want to touch wheel to wheel. I think that's part of it. And then two was just trying to give the cars a different look.
How did Barrichello look?
I forget where he was. I thought he was in the top 5, but I think he was just kind of learning at Sebring. I don't know if he's ever been to Sebring before, but I definitely heard that that's the guy that they're all looking for. You know, I think Powers was at the top and, you know, your normal suspects, but, you know, you're bringing, with Barrichello, you're bringing Formula One talent to the United States. So if he did like Mansell did, then he's got a championship in his future, correct?
Yeah, but Mansell is the story of all time. The defending world champion came to kart and won the kart championship back to back. I mean, that was a huge headline. Do you think Barrichello could win the IndyCar championship? He doesn't like ovals and said he had to have a strong conversation with his wife to even consider running ovals. Well,
you know, I mean, honestly, Bill, that's where they're going to lack, you know, but I think everybody agrees that Formula One's probably a little bit deeper pond than Indy cars. And, you know, I mean, I don't know about on driver talent. Maybe it's the technology. You know, Mansell was long in the tooth, though. Look, I mean, how old was he when he came over here? He had to be almost 40, right?
Yeah, but still, if you have my kids are older than 40. Come on, let's be careful here. Mansell came as the defending world champion, so that was
right.
You know, and
he had that benefit.
Yeah, he however old he was one of the best drivers in the world. So you know, he came with a lot of a pretty strong resume and was able to deliver here. But I think
I remember correctly, I was just a kid back then, but he'd tell you that he was one of the best drivers in the world, wouldn't he?
He'd tell you that this moment, wherever he is right now.
Exactly. And not that that's a bad thing. I have an autographed picture from him. He used to play golf with my uncle, so I had a true autographed picture from Nigel. Never met him, though.
Yeah.
So now let me ask you, with Ruben's experience, you know, with some of the top Formula One teams, and, you know, these teams have all the latest technology at their disposal, do you think that it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve or a steep learning curve for him to be able to come to an IndyCar team that may not have all of those tools at their disposal and really be able to help develop that car?
I guess it depends on how well he matches up with his engineer. To be honest with you, everybody's at a clean slate, right? I mean, everybody's pretty much on the same deal. That's to his advantage that are all dealing with new cars. They all got to figure out, you know, the little quirks of the new chassis. So that kind of puts him at a level playing field. If he can quickly take to the ovals, then I think he's got a really good shot, you know, and that all depends.
But the other guys have track knowledge, so the other guys have experience and able to look at some of the data from when they drove at those tracks in the past, have a little bit of a reference, whereas he's not going to have a reference for a car or a track.
Well, I agree with you, but I mean, so he might have a little bit of difficulties on the oval because that's a little bit different animal, but I mean, like Antonio Garcia, he gets 2-3 laps around a place, like at Road America. He'd never been there or whatever, and he's ready to go. I mean, he's within tenths of what he's going to do. So if you're at that level, I mean, they're going to learn road race courses because that's what they're comfortable with.
You're a top driver.
Right. Yeah, and then the other thing is I think that these cars will probably feel slow compared to a Formula One car. So, you know, it's kind of easy to play down.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus Barrichello's got the right personality. He's not high-strung. He's the kind of guy who is really laid-back, easygoing, but once he gets behind the wheel, he is a whole nother animal. And he's driven the best cars in the world with some of the best engineering. You know, obviously he was with Ferrari, did well there, and but he had to play second fiddle to Schumacher in his great run. but he had some of the best engineering talent available to him. He's not an unintelligent man, so he's probably learned quite a bit, and he'll probably bring a lot to the table, saying this is what we did, do that, and don't do this, don't worry about that.
Right.
You know, and make the car faster than.
You know, that's an excellent point too, Bill. I mean, Formula One changes their cars every year. So you really got to be on your game. I mean, you can't just climb in it and expect it to be right. I mean, those guys went through a transition every year or constantly.
They're always developing their cars. Right. You're right. So, Bill, we have also, you know, the 12 Hours of Sebring coming up, and I know that you keep on top of the championship there. That's close to your heart as well. What can we expect?
Well, with Audi coming, and it's the opening event of the World Endurance Championship, obviously the Audis are going to be very difficult to beat. But, you know, if anybody could do it, HPD and Muscle Milk have formed an alliance. They've got Lucas Luhr, Simon Pagenaud, and Klaus Graf in the LMP1. I don't know that they could outrun just the power and the resources of the Audi team. But if anybody can, if Audi stumbles, breathes, looks in the mirror the wrong time, poof, the Muscle Milk car is going to be behind them. They got great driver talent. I mean, Simon Pagenaud was with Peugeot last year, and you know, I mean, it's going to be very difficult for them to beat Audi. But if anybody can do it, they can.
Gotcha. All right, gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break here, and then when we come back, we'll get a little bit of a report from Peter on the SCCA convention that happened the other week. We'll be right back. The Club, an amateur racer. Here at GoRacingTV, we salute you. And we want to give you all the tools and info to compete with the best. Find out how to do it all from your own garage by watching our Club Racer and Autocrosser shows. GoRacingTV.com, supplying all your video racing needs. Welcome back. So the SCCA had their annual convention, and Peter, you were there. We've gotten a couple of reports from Mike Collins on one of our other shows, Racing No Filters. But you know, you obviously have a different look at this, sitting on the competition racing board. So I want to find out from you what happened.
Well, funny thing is Collins got everybody fired up. He was going to make a big scene at the BOD, you know, town hall meeting, and he calmly talked and really didn't.
Collins making trouble?
No, well, that's
Never.
the
That
funny
couldn't
thing.
happen.
In front of the big venue, you know, where he usually goes out there in grandstands, he didn't do it. And then later in the CRB town hall, then he got all upset about some protest in his backyard that supposedly wasn't done right. And part of the problem was him, but that's pretty funny. So he didn't cause the big stink that he usually does, is I guess the moral of the story. I'm sure behind the scenes he was stirring stuff up. The biggest thing I took from the convention.
So I hear that they have like we have a whole new schedule for the runoffs.
I'm getting there, Tucker. I'm getting there. I was trying to plug the idiot on your other show. So I love Mike. Don't worry about it. So anyway, I mean, I guess the things I took away from the convention is the new motto for SCCA is change. And that kind of scares the living daylights out of me. I don't really know what to tell you about that.
I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does.
It hasn't worked so well for your socialist. Well, you know what I'm going to go with there. So anyway, essentially, according from Jeff Danner to the board of directors to everybody, they're going to make changes even if it's wrong. So, you know, to try and look for the right recipe. One of the things that they're going to do is they've completely gone away from the traditional runoff schedule, and they have a new schedule to try and save people days. And if you're not going to test, it will save you at least one day. If you are going to test, then I don't know that it saved you anything. So And it's
so in some cases it's gonna help some people.
For me, it's really good. If I'm not going to test, I'll have to be there all week anyway as CRB, so I'll probably test. But if I wasn't going to test, it'd be great for me because. So
in essence, what you're actually saying is some change is good. Okay, go ahead. I understand.
I mean, honestly, if I was selfish and didn't want to test, no, I'm with you. But I could show up Thursday and I qualify Friday and Saturday and race Sunday and go home Monday. So to me, that'd be a regular weekend. I mean, I can see the cost savings there, but not to test it.
So now let me ask you one thing though.
What's that?
One thing. So, part of this whole runoffs is, the camaraderie and seeing people you haven't seen in a while. And as you know, there's several parties that go on in the evening. So do you think that that's going to, I know Mazda gives a banquet every year. Do you think that that's going to cut into some of that camaraderie and extracurricular activity in the evening that goes on now that they shorten it?
If I'm only qualifying Thursday, there will be guys that race on Thursday and be going home. So, I mean, there'll be guys that ran, I guess, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and they're going home. So, I mean, it's going to break up that. I mean, for the CRB thing, we usually have a tent meeting at lunch, on the days. Well, our tent meetings are going to be all different because there's guys qualifying, there's guys racing. So we're going to have, I don't know if we're going to have more tent meetings or do them at night it's very confusing. So, I mean, it might be a good thing. Guys might love it. So, let's wait and see. I'm not against change. I mean, I think you agree with me. The only way we're going to make the runoffs better is get rid of some classes. So, and that's
going to have to cut back on the classes.
That's dead in my. That was where I was going. Was there any thought given at the convention to consolidating some classes, cutting some classes?
Well, on our meeting with the board, I'm telling you, Tucker, with our meeting at the board of directors,
you're asking the wrong person, Bill.
No, I'm for class consolidation, just not the right classes, right? No, at our board meeting on Thursday, the private meeting between board of directors and CRB, we had, that was the main topic, and the board voted unanimously, so 13-0, that they are going to support class consolidation. So, our whole deal is we've got some Formula Car consolidations, we've got some show and stock and touring consolidations, and some GT. I think the only people that are safe is production. Everybody agrees that the 3 production classes are pretty healthy. So they might be aged, but they're pretty healthy. So we're supposed to bring proposals. Right. There'll be proposals out, I think, in the May fast track, and then for BOD approval at I think they meet the first weekend in May. So.
And I'm quite sure that the open wheel guys are already, trying to keep whatever little ground that they have. So that's going to be.
There was some grumbling.
I'm sure you guys are going to look at that.
I mean, well, and then you get into turf wars, but we're not going to lose show 'em stock and touring classes if we're not going to lose Formula Car classes. I'll tell you that. That's just not going to happen, in my opinion. And everybody agrees. Everybody, even the Formula Car, the board of director guys that have Formula Car experience, know that consolidation needs to happen. So that's going to happen. The other thing is, Tucker, like I said, they're putting together a task force to try and go get younger and new members, and a lot of things came out of that. They're going to try and
that's the future.
Make the schools easier for you to get your driver's license. They're trying to pump up the PDX program, kind of like NASA does, so that you can actually use PDX time, which you can do that now. Use PDX time to get your regular racing license and.
I don't know that making the school easier is the answer. I think the school right now is a pretty solid platform for bringing people in. But what I do think this should be made easier is the whole aspect of being able to bring your street car and introduce people and let them get, the bug of racing. I tell people all the time, they ask me, how do I get involved in racing? And I said, I took my motorcycle, because you guys know I started racing motorcycles, and I took my motorcycle to a track day, and it was done after that.
Well, that's one of the things.
2 weeks later, I sold my street bike and I went and bought a race bike. So, you introduce people to being able to just get out on the track, and I think that's what's going to help feed the club. Well, and that's one of the
things that's upsetting to me is, I came from solo, and, back when I was solo, autocrossing or whatever, we had a great Solo 1 program, and then it kind of went away. It just kind of faded away, and then, NASA picks it up, and now it's back as a PDX, and there's different variances And we just need to get that program more known. Because, I mean, you know,
Yeah,
that was a very successful program in the past for SCCA, and it's kind of one they let die.
Peter, I cannot agree with you more that the Solo 1 is the natural progression ladder. Yeah. The time attack has become what Solo 1 was. It's a natural place to learn how to race. I think a lot of guys have put tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars into their street cars that are probably better developed than some of the track cars. But the thing they're afraid of is racing fender to fender and tearing up their equipment. And then, so I think the SCCA is missing a point by allowing them to just build these class wheel-to-wheel things. They could get a lot more younger people to come in if they would build up their Solo 1 program.
And that's exactly what it is, Bill. They're just trying to make it more, you know, just get the word out to the public that we have those programs. That program's still out there, and you know, and it's growing. It just needs to take off. One of the other crazy ideas that came up, and I think it's a good one, is they're going to allow guys that run Chump Car events or limos or whatever to use that time against their racing license as well, as long as they have a clean record from those deals. And then there's one region in the flyover country that's actually going to let them regionally race their Chump cars in ITJ, which is for improved touring junk. So as long as that's the God's honest truth, as long as it passes the SCCA safety stuff, they're going to let them run their Chump and Lemons cars.
Wow.
And
ITJ.
Right, and ITJ.
So are we going to see an ITJ? Are we going to see an ITJ class at the ARC?
You know, Butch Comer, hell, he'll try anything to get people there.
Sounds good. All right, fellas. We're going to kind of cut this one short this week here. It's kind of running a little long. Any last words from Bill or Peter?
Well, I always got something. I got to tell you, I'm really enjoying, for the last 2 years, I've really been enjoying that Supercross stuff. That's some of the best racing going on two wheels. You know, I'm looking forward to the Daytona 200 on Sunday, but that motocross stuff is just, you know, Supercross is just excellent. It was a mud fest this weekend at Daytona, if anybody watched it. That looked like me and my drunk buddies from Spirit of Daytona out in the woods on our four-wheelers, but that's beside the point.
I'm sure it did. Bill, what do you got planned for the rest of this week? Are you going to sit there and look at the Sebring race?
Yeah, Sebring is it's something to look forward to. It happens fast. One of the things the drivers told me is that there's so much traffic on the side roads, the companion roads, that once in a while they could turn the corner and there's a car coming right at them, and at night it makes it look like it's on the track, and they've been startled a little bit. It's a fun race and one worth watching.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, gentlemen, thanks for joining me on this show. Folks out there, once again, always remember you could tune in to GoRacingTV for all your club racing needs. As we just announced, we are now going to be covering the SCCA Pro Trans Am series this year, and we're going to be coming out with a new app, so you'll be able to watch all of your favorite races right on GoRacingTV over your iPhone or your Android phone. So stay tuned for that. Until next time, you take care.